symbology and symbolism that's going on in there. So, because I'm not very good at that, so I wanted it explained to me before I started getting into the show. So, if you're in that boat, this should be good for you. And thanks, Brandon and Carrie, and I appreciate you guys very much. Here you go.
It's about Zeus and the family wanting to maintain their immortality, this false immortality. You'll see characters like Dionysus in there, and Hera, the wife, Poseidon. You'll have him in there as the brother of Zeus, and Dionysus is the son of Zeus. But basically, to make it quickly understandable, it's Zeus runs everything. Like, he's the one who killed his father, which would be Kronos, and took over. And his son is like wanting his dad's approval. Dionysus is wanting Zeus's approval. And he's kind of like, he's got some humanity to him. Like, he cares about the humans and he believes in love. And he's also really wild, but he finds a human that had just lost their wife. And it shows you, like, it's interesting because it's in color, right? Yeah. But when somebody dies and they go to this place called Hell, led by Hades, and it's all like modern. It's all made modern. It's right. In black, but it's in black and white.
Yeah, I watched that video you sent of that dude talking about it. Gives his little description, so I saw that little bit.
And so Dionysus, the son of Zeus, finds this guy that was in love with this woman that died, and he wants to bring her back. So he does some stuff and figures out a way to get him into Hell to bring her back, and it's all part of the prophecies. Carrie probably knows the terminology better, but there's a drink that they drank. What was that called in the show?
They call it meander. It sounded like mead to me, which is the beer of the Norse gods. So yeah, come to find out later in the show, the meander is their life water,
adrenochrome,
which is basically adrenochrome. It's made from the souls they have been harvesting from the humans that they've lied to, telling them they're going to get recycled and like a new life. And have a new life and another go round. And so everyone in the movie is very excited about dying and then going through the frame, is what they call it. And come to find out, Hades was instructed to find a way to retain the souls that went through the frame so they could basically eat the souls. And that is what has been their power source. And so what's happened is it's created an imbalance because the people dying is at a higher rate than the people being reincarnated. And so anyway, Zeus is having a fit. And so he's wanting to destroy humanity because someone stole his watch. I think it's what it was.
Dionysus, his son stole his watch, and they have like it's kind of like Beverly Hills. Zeus has this mansion and has all these ball boys. He lines them up on top of this like archway, and he's like, "Did you steal my watch? Or who do you know who did it?" And he'd yell, "Pull!" like a gun, like the gun with a disc. He would shoot one of the pool boys and then go to the next one and just keep killing all of his pool boys to find out who stole his watch. All along, it was his son Dionysus that was trying to prove a point because he had just given him a watch which he Zeus didn't really care for. He's like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks, not for me." And so it was like a sign of disrespect to Dionysus. So Dionysus is trying to do something that will catch the attention of his father the whole time.
So what's the story? What's the deal with that watch? Because like that dude in that video talked about it too. Like what significance is the watch?
I would say time.
Okay, I was just gonna say that. I almost answered it when I asked, but yeah.
I think it represents his dad that he killed, and he carries that with him.
Yeah, because Kronos is Father Time, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
But it's interesting because when you go to Hell, there's buildings and there's jobs and there is beer and food, but like there's no satisfaction in anything. Like they add a lot of salt to their drinks. A lot of salt, and you still can't taste it. Just tastes like nothing. Like sex tastes like nothing. Cigarettes, nothing has any flavor to it. It's all just blah.
And that's all the black and white stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So how much of the show is in hell?
50% probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? That much? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they have two groups that go there. The ones that have a coin to pay for entry to go through the frame, and in their mind be reincarnated. So they're all really happy and wading through the sea of Lethia, which means forgetfulness. And this is the same sea that the God in the Bible has people go to, and that's when he says that you'll wipe every tear and you'll remember the past no more. Well, it's because you swam through the sea of forgetfulness. That's the thing that truth is the word used by Yeshua, and it means aletheia, which means unforgetting. So what one is doing, then that, to me, that proves that the real individual, Yeshua, whatever, came to undo the bull, basically the forgetting. And so anyway, they go through this, and so Zeus had Hades construct this frame that would cause the people to basically turn into I'm sure you've seen those pictures of the Chinese soldiers that they supposedly found underground that was like a whole army of clay soldiers. That's what these people looked like, was dust, and there was nothing to them. And so Hades started feeling bad about that, and so he had eaten the soul out of one of them that wasn't supposed to be there. He walked in there alive. So he took his soul, and then I guess he had a change of heart. So he goes and tries to put the soul back in, and it doesn't work. Well, this one guy, there's like three of them that in the story are kind of being followed because they've been selected, I guess, by the fates for a certain time to bring about the shift and the dethroning of Zeus. And then what's going to wind up happening is Prometheus is going to take over the throne, which Prometheus is apparently a cousin of Zeus, but he's the one that brought fire to the humans, pissed off Zeus. So Zeus hung him on a side of a mountain or a hill or something, and appointed an eagle to eat his liver out every day for eternity.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And so that's who's narrating the first season.
Who?
It's Prometheus. Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Poseidon's having an affair with Hera, who is Zeus's wife, but they're both out boinking everything else they can find. So
right, I'm sure everybody's fucking everybody. I heard that. Yeah. Is it a lot of LGBT stuff?
Oh man!
Oh, all over the place.
Yeah, one dude,
incest.
Yeah,
all that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. That's what those people do. So
well, you know that is, and then they say that the humans are bad. Dude, if they made the humans, what the heck? The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree.
Yeah. Wow.
No.
But yeah, the frame is it's a great big, I'd say 30, 40 foot square white.
Flamey looking thing.
Yeah. Yep.
In the middle of the water, and they have to swim out to it with their life preservers. And then they got turned into dust. And then this one guy that was supposed to help set free the people or tell them the truth about the soul trap in hell, he comes back. His mom drags him through the frame. He comes out in a dust, statue. And then all of a sudden it repeats the prophecy about Zeus his family being dethroned. And it was something about out of the ashes, a new line. And so about that time, it goes to this guy in his ashen dust form, and it has a line of blue lightning going down right down the middle, like it's cracking. And then his lighted soul comes out, and he's back in flesh and bone again.
Who is?
Then I forgot his name.
His name's like, isn't it Orpheus or something like that? Or Orneus?
No, Cornelius or something.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
but he was already in hell.
Yeah, he's already there.
And he was working as a diver.
He was an Amazon, but he was a boy, so they kicked him out.
in the Amazon culture, you can't have a boy basically until a certain age. They can be identified as a male, and then they train him to be a fierce warrior and all that stuff. But he was working as a diver in hell, so he starts out the show in hell already. So he was, and a diver, what their job was to usher all these dead people to this light, to this frame. So they're like the saints and the prophecy guys and the preachers standing on the corner saying, "Hey, come this way, it'll be okay," and just there to comfort them so they can go into the sea and then go into the frame.
So when they die, they just show up in the water?
No,
they wait at the port for the boat, the ferry,
the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where they need a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a coin is only going to get them to the frame. So what about the people that show up and don't have a coin?
Well, they get retained for 200 years as punishment for not having a coin.
That's where they get their workers
from.
And
that's where the workers come in.
Where are you supposed to get a coin from?
When you die, they're supposed to put one, like the gal that went down there, the lady, her husband took her coin so that she couldn't pass through and be reborn again.
Think of it this way, like I think it's
so she was mad.
Isn't it the mummies who have coins on over their eyes?
Mm-hmm.
And she had a coin in a casket at the funeral.
They put them in their mouth.
Yeah, and he picked it up and took it so he could take it back to her. He was trying to do something good. And what's interesting when you read that book, the Can You Stand the Truth? It talks about the true creation story and forethought and afterthought. Well, this husband character is all about the afterthought. Like he doesn't realize what he's doing, and then he apologizes for it after, or before he goes into hell. It's silly. It's like a trash can that he jumps in. I know this sounds very flamboyant, but it's the show. There's a trash can he jumps in, and Dionysus is there, and he's getting ready to jump, and he's like, "Oh, wait, hey, I need you to feed my cat. Please don't forget to feed my cat." And then he kills somebody, and then in hell he kills somebody. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you." He keeps, it's this afterthought presence that this character is embodying, rather than forethought.
Okay.
Which I think is what Prometheus is supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Forethought.
Prometheus is forethought.
And so he brought fire to humans. So, because I remember Alex Jones always talks about the Promethean fire. So I was always like, what the fuck does that mean? But like, so, yeah, I'd have so many fucking questions, dude. I'm just listening. I've got a bunch of notes here. It helps.
Ask a question.
I mean, dude, I just don't. I mean, I'd have so many. I don't even know where to begin. I'll watch it, and once I've gone through the episodes, I'll probably ask you about each one of them, just as they come up, and then I'll probably rewatch them, and then it'll start to make more sense to me. Yeah, it's helping for sure, though.
It's a very modern take on something very ancient.
Right.
It's all about the family line, the Melchizedek, the Jesus line, all that stuff.
Well, who's supposed to be the Jesus line?
No, it's the Greek pantheon that has ruled this place. So it's the
appropriation of it, though, because Zeus wants to claim that he's the only god. That's why he killed his father. That way nobody stands beside of him. He gets jealous. That's why you have the affair with Poseidon and Hera, to show the jealousy.
So then he would be Yahweh, basically.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's going to have parallels. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But as far as saying that it's the Jesus thing, it's the same story all the time,
right? Over and
over and over again. It doesn't matter whose name a person puts in there,
right?
You know, it's kind of the same. I've seen so many movies lately, and it's all of them. I was telling my grandson, all of these are, this group has been enslaved, they've been captured and made slaves of. Then one rises from among them. He's an outcast. He leaves. Then he comes back, and his name's Moses. He saves them from Pharaoh. They all get together. They take all the goodies from the people who are there. They leave. They get miraculous things while they go and traipse across the world, you know, and start a whole new thing. And it's the same thing. It's slavery, savior, start all over. But it's somebody outside of theirself.
Yeah, so then within the Greek stuff, like it's just these archons. So they're not human for sure. And then so who created humans then, based on the Greek mythology? Like, I mean they're clearly not going to say that, but then like it would be these archon fucking things that are this pantheon of Greek gods, they're the ones that created us in one way or another, right?
Yeah, each of them I think was instructed to create their own human in their own image. That's why we have different humans.
Right.
Each of those entities made their humans in their image, and then those humans in turn worshiped them. So like in India, there's several hundred or thousand gods. And so there's one I'm sure that takes most of the credit for building the humans there, or creating them. And then so the god in Africa is going to look quite different. The god in China is going to look quite different. And so it's kind of the same, because each of them makes it in their own image for this earth. And if they're out in a different dimension, they might have a planet, or whatever they want to call it. Something else is their domain, and they might have humanoid type creations up there that are made in their image. And so it's kind of it's a program that they run.
Yeah,
I think. But this was just I guess it takes place in Greece because they were naming all of the Greek things. So this is the Greek pantheon. But I do think it has some play into like where and it may have been that it's bigger, because even the Vatican, what they call up there the 12 disciples, were the 12 gods of the Greek pantheon before they renamed it. And so I think that the whole Greek god thing was much bigger than what we have. But in the show, the ball boys were humans. They weren't gods, and they were serving Zeus in his castle as humans, and they counted it as a privilege. They had one woman who since birth was raised to be the sacrifice to Zeus, and so she was all super excited about that, getting to kill herself so that the god would be pleased. And and he's up there laughing and thinking how stupid they look.
Yeah, they call it a muse.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
But
it'll be interesting. How many episodes is this?
8. I think 8. Yeah.
Oh, and that's the whole first season?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think it's trying to show also how maybe that these entities still have a presence, and how they're made more powerful versus how they're made weaker. And a lot of it has to do with the attention maybe that the humans give them.
Yeah, because at one point Zeus is like, there's not enough praise and worship, basically. And so he's like, I'm going to create catastrophes. And he comes up with a 2-phase plan. I'm going to flood here. I'm going to have fires here, storms over there. And it's because when those things happen, people, there's a scene where he's like walking the street and he sees everybody happy. He's like, there's not enough distress. There needs to be more distress in the world. Thus, then they'll seek something outside of themselves and start praying to their god Zeus. Because that's what it's the ego, man. It's that's how they live. They live off of the
heroes.
Yeah. But it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I never ever paid attention. I just remember them trying to teach us Greek mythology like so many times from like middle school through high school. And I would just I couldn't pay attention. I was just like, why are they teaching us shit that just doesn't mean anything? Oh my God. And it's fucked up because all my friends were like super into it and like paid full attention. And then the classes that they couldn't fucking pay attention, like science and math and shit, I was like, oh, okay, I get this. I can do this. It's just weird. And now I don't know shit about Greek mythology at all. And I'm like, I feel bad just for myself because I'm like, fuck, I should know more about this.
Well, I didn't until just recently because I never had a need. I did the same thing in school. I didn't pay any attention to it.
And I'm like, why are they teaching us fantasy stories, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah.
They did it over and over and over again. I'm like, I should have probably taken that as a cue or something. Like, dude, maybe you should learn this. But I didn't. I was like, nope, this is just time for me to daydream. Oh, well. Well, here I am now. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Never too late. So yeah, that's good. Well, that's cool, man. Like this will help for sure when I start to watch it, because I mean, I wouldn't have known any of this, dude. I mean, the names is for sure. At least I've got like some sort of semblance of who the fuck is what now, and that'll help. And then as I watch it, I'm sure I'll have more questions and be like, so this thing happened and da da da. Oh yeah, okay. And then I understand like some of it'll just be common sense type stuff, just based on my knowledge of how things kind of work. And I will be able to equate some of it to like just my understanding of some of this stuff. But it's interesting because these fucking people that run our world, like Bill Gates and all these fuckers, they are fully into this. They think that they're these gods reincarnated. Like there's a dude, I'd have to have you, man, we interviewed him on our show once, me and Rick did. His name's Headless Giant. That's what he goes by. And he knows Greek mythology like a fucking scholar, man. Like, so he came on and was telling us during the time that balloon thing, remember when the Chinese balloon thing was going on?
Yep.
He was talking about that, dude, and he was equating that to all this fucking Greek mythology. And dude, I'll dig up the episode and I'll send it to you guys and you can watch it. And then I'll reach out to him. I don't know where the fuck I find him. I think he was on Instagram, because I used to talk to him more, just say hi to him or whatever, but I haven't in a while. I think he was on Instagram. He is all about this stuff, dude. And so you guys, he should talk. I mean, he should just be on one of these calls with us, because he could contribute the shit out of some stuff too. He knows this stuff. And I just remember Rick kind of knew a little bit more about it. And so when he was telling us about this stuff, Rick was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't know any of this." But he was like talking about Bill Gates and just different world leaders, and how they clearly think that they're reenacting this whole thing, this whole ancient Greek shit that happened. They're redoing it again now. They're like living through it again now. They think that they're these people reincarnated.
Well, it makes me wonder though, because I do believe that everything happens in the spiritual first and manifests in its own matter in the lower, heavier densities. Mm-hmm. And so if these entities, even though for us to kind of relate to them, we need to see them in human form, they were still not living on the earth with the humans. They were in their palaces and stuff. They had some humans they took up there, apparently. But it makes me wonder, because these are all the fallen entities. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes me wonder if you took away the flesh, if these are not some type of, spirits, principalities, higher power things that do run the show. And so they're greatly influencing the Bill Gates, the Trumps, the whatever the other people's names are, influencing them, and they're familiar with that particular spirit or entity, that it has the power of Apollo, or it has the spirit of so-and-so on it, and that those are not the empowering spirits for them to do the things they do and to act the way that they do, because I do believe in spirits and principalities and higher, forces of wickedness in high places. So what if they just put skin on it? But this is a picture of those influences upon the whole of humanity, and we're seeing how actually cruel these things are. I don't know. I think there's some reason that they've brought it into the modern time.
Yeah.
So it's either more of the picture of deception, but what got me was that Hades and who was the snakehead?
Medusa,
and all these other quote unquote gods they all knew about this particular time when Zeus would be overthrown, and they're all in on it, and supporting the guy getting his wife and breaking the what would you call that? The spell, the breaking the
rule.
Yeah,
like the rule is nobody comes out of hell without going through the frame.
Fates and their prophecies. That's what it was.
Prophecies.
Yeah. Okay. And
so then, okay, so people die, and then they're at this port, And if they weren't given a coin, which means they had to be given a coin by someone that buried them, and the coin physically goes from the world down with them into hell. So then the ones with no coin, they're workers and they stay in hell for what, 200 years, and then they get to get out?
They weren't real clear on that, I don't think, were
They weren't, no.
Okay. But then the ones with coins can pay the fee and get to have Poseidon take them to the frame.
They can play again, like an arcade.
Okay, right. Yeah. And then do they understand that it's a reincarnation loop thing? Like, they understand that, right?
The ones that have the coins and are going through the frame, they have no clue.
What are they told the frame is?
A new life.
Okay.
A new chance. A better life. All the promises.
Okay.
For a new life, which to me means a reincarnation. But
yeah. But do they ever lie to him and say, "Oh, it's heaven," or do they sell him on heaven, eternal life, or any of that kind of shit, or they just said this is just a new life?
I don't think I even heard heaven at all.
I didn't either.
Nope.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's just that they get to go again. So this is, I don't know if they mean that that's how their eternal life is that they just keep rolling through the frame. But it's interesting how it was a frame, like a picture frame, except there's a picture frame or the mirror frame or something. But they were supposed to be recycled. That's what their religion taught them, or their belief system. What was actually happening is it had been hijacked by Zeus, and the people were being retained, and they were processing their souls. Instead of recycling them into another body, they were keeping them and turning it into this water of the gods.
And the room that they put them in, that where Hades tried to give the soul back into the body of the one that he took it from, they called it the nothing room. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I totally forgot.
I mean, there's millions of like just clay looking, and it's like almost like the Thanos thing where he snaps his fingers and everybody starts to dissolve.
Yes.
It's like that, but really, really slow. And everybody looks like a statue. Like they're all mourning. And it's just like they're breaking away very slowly, and it's lifting up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's feeding the gods. That's what they're using to live longer in rain in this world.
These clay things that are dissolving.
Yeah, they're bodies.
But so the souls have been taken from those bodies, so those are just decaying bodies minus a soul.
Yeah,
and the soul's already been turned into the meander.
It hasn't shown that part of it yet. It really has only shown Hades taking a soul from somebody, and what he did was he touched his forehead to the person that was alive, and it pulled the soul out into Hades. And so when he tried to put it back, he put his forehead to the statue, the human statue, and tries to put it back in it, but it's not working.
Didn't work.
No.
So does he just not know why it won't work, or not how to make it work?
He does not know.
Oh.
It specifically, he tells somebody, I forget who it was, but he's like, it didn't work. And they're like, why? He's like, I don't know.
Huh.
Because think of it as, I just chalked that up to prophecy. Like the time is coming for the end to happen. And Zeus's prophecy was, the last line of it was like, and chaos reigns. That's why the show is called KAOS.
Okay, a line appears.
That's it.
Something, and then chaos reigns.
Yep.
And the line was the guy that his soul came back automatically.
Yeah,
he didn't have to do anything, or he went through everybody's same process, but just by being, his soul knew it had to be back, and he was supposed to. That was his job, was to come back and warn the others, and then put their souls back inside of them.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Jesus then.
Essentially.
He would be Christ or Jesus or the fucking bringer of truth, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, he's
the one that broke the system.
He broke the system. He's breaking it, but he's not like going around saying, "I'm just God."
No, they're not going to put all that in there. Of course not. But like he's the one that's fucking all their shit up.
Okay, so in I don't want to call it real world, but in the modern day, the colorful section of the show. So in the above, we'll call it. There's a group of rebels. There's 7 of them, and the 7th one, they've caught 6 of them, and they're trying to find the 7th one. Well, the 7th one, he knows this stuff. Like he knows what's going on. Like it's all about F the gods, but he's got a line on his nose, like a inch or so long line. Well, they catch him using the help of some other people, and he gets sent to hell. That's the one that they took the soul from and tried to put the soul back into it. That guy is the one that's breaking the system because he rebelled. He didn't want to play servant or master. He was just trying to get information out. That would be the one that's breaking it. And that's the one they can't figure out why it's happening, but it's happening because of prophecy led by the fates.
So they took his soul, but then he clearly couldn't keep it because the dude came back.
I think they must get the souls when he does the extraction. They must store them somewhere.
They just haven't been shown yet.
It just hasn't shown that.
Oh, okay. So there's okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why they're still accessible in the underworld, because they've not gone for further processing. Because I was trying to figure out how they get the soul up to the,
to the
heaven,
that
and
Zeus is at.
Yeah, and in this water fountain, which is a circle.
It's like a water fountain. It has a levitating water circle that's circulating like a clock. And at the end of the show,
is that a portal?
No.
Ouroboros?
No, it's not an Ouroboros. Okay. It's just a circle. But that's where he would like dip his cup in and drink this meander water. And at the end of the season, when the prophecy is starting to get fulfilled, you see that Zeus starts to bleed, which he didn't used to be able to get hurt or bleed.
Right.
So he knows something's going on. And then it shows that fountain, that circular water it like collapses down, meaning it just collapses back into still water as opposed to the oscillating.
Wow.
Meaning their circle of time perhaps is up.
I forget the name of the character, but it says it in one of the Gospels about their time of reign. Like they can reign for a certain amount of time and then it ends, and that's when this thing gets shut down.
Yeah,
it's in Angelique's work too. I just can't remember the name.
And they all do. They all have a certain amount of time.
Is it Samael? I can't remember. I don't want to miss.
Well, that's one of the names of Yaldabaoth, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But they're even on the Kali Yuga cycles. They each of the rulers in their cycles only last X number of years. And then they have a big to-do about who's going to take the next place. And that's kind of, I think, where we're at, is in the changing of the guard, so to speak. And then along with that is going to come, erasing the old and bringing in their new version of human. And I think that I just think that's where we are in time.
And so then Zeus is in, so like in the story, like Zeus would be in like for the fifth dimension.
I think that's where castle is.
It's like in a higher realm. It's surrounded by clouds up on a mountain.
Okay, but it's not part of Earth or whatever.
No, I wouldn't say it is. It's a different.
So then let me ask you this: there's his area, and then there's Earth, and then there's Hades?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So there's Earth too.
So we're like I think that's what they call it, isn't it? Earth. Not like it's something separate. It's like it's just 3 levels of the same thing.
Oh.
So heaven, and then Earth or mid-Earth, and then hell, lower Earth, higher Earth, middle. I don't know.
Okay. They don't consider it separate, just different levels.
It's kind of the way I understood it.
I would say different planes. Yeah. Like that picture you sent with the different.
Yeah. Right.
Just like that. It's a different plane.
Okay.
It's got its own characteristics and whatnot. Like
it's like the egg that Angelique talks about, kind of. Of course, clearly there would be more up and more below it then too, I guess. But
7 up, 5 below.
Yeah.
12 gods.
12 dimensions or whatever.
Right.
Wow. I'm slowly starting to put some of it together in my own mind.
once you watch it, you'll get alarm bells.
Yeah, totally. William said, a little off topic, wonder your thoughts on the Hindu god Hanuman statue, half monkey, half human, unveiled in Texas, and one announced to be unveiled in Canada here.
I've heard about it.
Any thoughts on that? I've heard about that. I didn't read too much about it, but I did see something about it. What do you think about that?
Monkeypox.
I just think it's just a chimera.
It's I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I think that, you know how they talk about evolution and people were made from monkeys? I think that there are some that were. That's why it kind of gets convoluted, because not all races have the same history,
right?
But they have the same parallels. You see what I mean? Like some people say we come from fish, and some people come from monkeys, and some people come from lizards, and it's back to the archons, and each one's creating one in their own image. And then right. I think Inky and Enlil, and again, not all, but like some of the darker skinned folk are from this place. They were made in the dark. That's why they are darker. That's why they have more melanin. Mm-hmm. You know, different calf muscles, kind of thing.
Yep.
But I think there's that show, The Monkey. It's on YouTube. You showed it to me, Carrie, about the monkey guy that went through all the dimensions and countered the gods and went to eventually saw Buddha or something like that at the very end.
Sun Kong.
Yeah, it's like a monkey that's
Monkey King is what it's called.
That's what it is.
Legend of Monkey King.
It's just interesting because we got Planet of the Apes with a new movie that got dropped. It got Monkey Pox, right? It's a continuation. They're trying to dilute the truth.
There's so much out there though that it's so fucking hard, dude. Imagine, like, we're looking for it and looking at it, and we still don't. I mean, I still don't have a clue. There's just so much to this, to what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm glad that we've met each other and starting to figure out. And I've got that book, and I read through it, and I look at, I look at a lot of this stuff, and at least I'm starting to kind of get a picture in my head of how it works. God, it's so fucking different. I remember when I read that Drunvalo Melchizedek book for the first time back in, I think I was like 22 or something like that. And I remember reading a thing where he was explaining how he was putting it in real simple terms, and he was like, so he's like, when you die, he's like, you're gonna go, he's like, there is reincarnation, and he's like, and you will be reincarnated, because he said Satan has basically created a whirlpool in a river. He's like, think of it like a river, and when you die, you're supposed to just go back into the river, but Satan has created a whirlpool, and you can't get out of it. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? What does that even mean? You know what I mean? But now that we're talking about some of this stuff, it makes more sense. You know what I mean? Like, that was an extremely simplistic way of explaining it. But I mean, back then, that's what was necessary. I mean, and I still didn't even really understand it, but it made sense to me. It was like, okay, so there's like it's been hijacked. The main flow of things has been fucking hijacked. Yep. And we're stuck in a whirlpool. I was like, okay, I can get that. I don't know what that means, but like, and now it seems like I'm starting to understand a little bit more about how that could be based on just all, the stuff we're talking about here tonight.
Well, even like the monkey god, I think in order for something to function in this density from a higher dimension, they have to mingle something of them with something of us. Right. Unless they have a space chute or something, to go into. And so I think that's part of that mingling together. And I think that they would have mixed if they had, human monkeys or something. Either they made them and mixed them, or that's just what that entity looked like. There are even some humans, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but that have different facial structure that's more
that look like monkeys, you mean? Yeah, fuck yeah, there are.
Yeah. Let me throw this at you guys and see what you think. So there's they like to give you the truth but mask it with all these 20 lies, so you won't know which one's the truth, right? And so we know about I'm trying to correlate all the monkey themes that I've seen or heard of. So in Jumanji, the kid who wanted to play the game, he kept playing the game and he turned into a monkey. Yeah. We also have the 100 monkey effect. So that means I would look at that from a prophecy standpoint, like, hey, people are waking up, people are realizing this. So it could be something to that nature too, besides just a new race of humans. But there was like, what's that game with the monkeys and the apples or something, or the barrel full of monkeys?
Barrel full of monkeys, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to correlate other things that may be What's the one? The book, the Curious George. He's a monkey. He just happens to be curious and a monkey. That's interesting. 100 monkey effect. So maybe there's some hidden deeper stuff there that is as to why we're seeing all these monkey things pop up in movies and statues and all that.
Well, it's very prevalent in the Hindu religion. Of many of the temples are replete with major stories of Shiva and a whole tribe of a monkey culture or ape type culture. And they spoke, they wore clothes, they had bejeweled themselves, and they went to wars, they had battles, they fought for kingship. And so these are some kind of humanoid beings at some point, is my guess. And I think that as one type of human continues to develop, the new one generally takes over the old one. So whatever was is either usurped and is altered to look more like the new one, or the old is totally destroyed and annihilated. And you might have what they call fables, or they make you think that it's all just made up. I don't think that it is.
Yeah.
I think it's all the history of this place.
It is. Yeah, I think so. I think Brandon's 100% correct. It is part of the history of this place. We've been told that it's myth, and these people just pull it out of their ear, and they just dream all this stuff up,
What do you mean Mandela effect, Curious George? There's a Mandela effect about Curious George?
His tail.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have a tail. Now he's just.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I heard about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I really liked Angelique's explanation of what the Mandela effect was on that video.
Oh, phenomenal.
It was so great. And so check this out. This is just an anecdote, but I posted that inside Brian Staveley's Dose of Reality channel on Telegram. And that's
I can't get him to read at all. But yeah, go ahead.
But that's all he talks about is the Mandela effect.
That's his thing, yeah.
And 9/11. But so anyway, I'm on there and I was like, I don't really look on that a lot because they all just goon out about Mandela effect. It's like any group, that's all they fucking do is that one thing. It's like, Jesus Christ, where's the fucking cohesion? But anyway, so I saw one day these dudes were talking, and this one woman was like, the admin, his name was Kerry on there, and he was just such a douchebag. He was just talking down to people like he was some sort of authority. And he was just railing on this woman because she didn't understand the Bible changes. And he was just treating her like an asshole. So I was like, oh, and on that same group, I had found somebody that posted a link. They had built a website, and it was about all the biblical changes. I mean, it's a very good, thorough, here's all the changes that we know about. And I'm like, oh, fuck, cool. So I just posted that on there and was like, here you go, just read through this. And then it happens to say on that website that the D-Wave and CERN are causing it through black magic. Well, if you listen to Brian Staveley, he's very adamant that no, that's not what's causing it. So, of course, his admin, Carrie, is going to carry that same fucking attitude, only it's the word of God. So I post this link to this website for this woman to just look at the biblical changes. That's it. It says on the little window that pops up when you post links, D-Wave and CERN, da-da-da-da-da. And he immediately responds with, oh, well, I guess Jonathan gets added to the list of dumb fucks that I'm never going to listen to or have any fucking worry about what they say because it's clearly not humans doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm like, bro, do not fuck with me. I'll be nice at first. You know what I mean? So anyway, like, I was like, I only posted that. I said, first of all, I found this link from this site. Okay. I'm just reposting it. Second of all, I only posted it to show that woman the biblical changes, not to talk about what actually is causing it. I said that to him 4 times in like a matter of 2 hours, just back and forth, not really sitting here just doing it back and forth, but I'd go away and I'd come back and there his mouth had run about me again, like fucking coming after me personally. I'm like, bro, like, again, I am not talking about what's causing it with that. I posted it for that woman to look at the video. Oh, whatever, bro. I'm done with you. You don't need to say anything more. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So then another dude he had been railing on at that same time about the guy said he had gotten COVID. So he's like, "You're a retard, and I won't ever listen to anything you say again because is not real, and you're a fucking moron if you think that." And I mean, just total douchebag. And so then the guy asked later, he's like, "Well, what's wrong with me saying I got COVID?" And so I went in and spoke to the dude and was like, "Look, bro," and I explained, I was like, "I have a degree in microbiology from Colorado State University, so I've been through all the actual classes. I've studied that shit. I was gonna be. I'm a virologist on a small level." And I was like, I started explaining to him all the shit, that's just not there for it to be virus. And so, yeah, exactly. And cul-de-sac groups. And so I was like, but what was cool, some of the people were in there were actually, we started talking about totally off-topic stuff. And this was one of them. And I steered him into the right direction. He's like, "Well, it sounds to me like we're just giving up one religion for another." And I'm like, "No, I'm not saying that we know for sure exactly what is exactly causing all sickness. I'm just saying we know for sure it's not this germ theory shit. And so don't necessarily adopt a new religion, but just give up on ones that we know aren't real." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So anyway, long story short, there ended up being a lot of good back and forth between like 4 or 5 people. Like, no one was an asshole. Clearly, these people didn't understand some stuff. So I just calmly explained to them some stuff that I know and said, "Look up Royal Raymond Rife, look up some of these books that maybe you've not read or heard about, and make up your own decisions." And I don't know. Then this fucking Carrie dude chimed back in and tried to say something else later, and just fucking crickets, dude. I was so happy. Like, no one responded to him, no one talked to him, and it's been like 2 weeks now almost, and still no one's responded to that post he put up. So I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool. That's what he gets. Just such a douchebag, dude. God, it was so amazing. It's like, what the fuck makes you think you know everything? I don't know. Like I said, it's just an anecdote, but God, dude, it's just annoying. These people get into these groups and they get made admins and they just think they're something special. It's like he was just ranting and raving about how we'll never know what the Mandela effect is and do 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 do. I'm like, bro, did you even look at the thing that I posted that gives a plausible explanation for what could be causing it? He goes, "No, I told you I'm not going to look at any fucking thing you posted because you said that CERN and D-Wave are doing it." So fuck him. 3 other people did read that. Remember when I had to make the transcript and I made the transcript of that one and said, "Here it is," so that blah blah blah, the PDF. Well, I posted that and several people read through it and were like, "Oh, that's fucking cool." So I don't know. That's the anecdote of it, was like that I did post it there and some people did actually go and look at it and go, "Oh yeah, wow, that's fucking cool," because it is. And that douchebag is just standing on fuck him because the thing that he posted said CERN and D-Wave are doing it. I'm like, and I explained to him 4 separate times, "Bro, I'm not saying it's CERN or D-Wave or people. Did you read the thing that I posted that I am actually saying, suggesting maybe that's what's causing it?" "No, fuck you." Oh. If there weren't other people that were actually like had some brains, I'd probably shoot myself if I was a truther and that was all I could find was idiots and assholes. I'd be like, "Oh my God, this place is we are in hell. We're not going to hell. We're in hell."
Oh, I'll be there.
And that's not too much of a stretch anyway.
No, it's not. I just think that, I mean, the next, I mean, we can go in so many directions. It's the next thing that's coming, right, is this whole 5D, hook you up to a computer, steal your consciousness, lock you in, second death. I mean, that's the same stuff. It's just different names, and that's what's really coming that people don't understand. They think they are gonna have a new life. They're not gonna have anything. They're gonna be split so many different ways. Isn't that what Zeus did anyway? Was split the human? That was his whole goal. Like they were too powerful. I sent it on our Journey Points Home Telegram group about the split. Right, like the being that they made was smarter than all of them because it had the divine spark within it, and that's when they said we can't control this. How are we going to control it? We're going to split it up, and we're going to give it a false one to worship it. The Adam and Eve story. It's just, I don't know how deep we want to go and how much time we got left, but it's the same thing. It's divide and conquer, give them false truth, and then the other side, when they come out of that, they're going to go to the dark side, and they're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. Whereas the neutrality of it is, I don't want the false light crap. I don't want to be reincarnated back into this hell realm or any part of the dimensional structure of this matrix, whatever. It's all eating itself. It's consuming itself.
Yeah. Well, because it was created by a demigod, if you will. And I think that was that's part of how the source God would have had it, was that, like, yeah, you can do stuff like that, but it won't last forever because it just can't.
Well, that's why it got contained. That's why everybody talks about the container, because if chaos would have infected the eternal realms, and I mean, look what it did here, right? You wouldn't want that in all of creation. So it would have to be contained.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. So what's crazy is that like the 5D stuff that's coming, like, I mean, I don't know, I just wonder how they're going to sell that to people.
Faster, bigger, better.
New bodies.
You can do more. You'll be able to compete with the AI coming in. Elon Musk and Geordie Rose have made it quite clear, I think, as to what is gonna.
It just seems like they're gonna do some kind of invasion, be it FEMA camp or spaceship. It's whatever, and then they're gonna put you into a room. They're gonna gas you, and they're gonna put you under hypnosis, and they're gonna hook you up into a machine while you're sleeping.
Or you go into the frame, which might be, maybe frame is short for mainframe.
Yeah,
and
right.
They knock you out or render you forgotten, and hook you back up to something else.
Yeah, wow. And then you're in like a simulation within a simulation within a simulation.
Well, yeah, if it's hard enough to figure this stuff out now, just imagine that.
Oh, well, because a lot of the evil and nasty and dark will be taken away from it, so you won't it'll take so much longer to figure out that you're a slave.
Yeah, I mean, I've even heard stories of like somebody, I don't know if it was a virtual reality test of some sort, and this girl put on a mask and like laid in a hypnostasis type thing, like a pod, and when she got in, she got raped, and she got raped for a year, every day for a year, and then she woke up from it, and she was like, I can't, like, she's just crying and she's emotional, she's broken, like she can't unsee that. So I mean, the levels of lies are paramount to the truth here. So if we double that, tenfold, 100-fold, that's what meta is. That's what the new evolution of human will be. But there'll be a bunch of robots. They'll be mindless. There'll be cyborgs. You saw the post I put about the cyborgs in China, about the zombie-looking Borgs with the red eyes or whatever they had.
Yep.
And they made the Call of Duty game from years ago had it in it. Like, it's all true stuff. Sometimes I wonder if these other countries aren't different realms. Like, I think it's China. They have like a whole stockyard of all these pods. They call them COVID pods or something like that, but they look like shipping containers, but they're all stacked on top of each other. They're all white, and they look individual rooms. I just imagine, like, they'll do an invasion. You'll go up in a ship, you'll go under hypnosis, and then they'll load you into one of these docking pods in a different place. And how would you ever know the difference? You wouldn't have any clue unless you woke up somewhere along the way, before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we're in a dark place.
Yeah, we are. And well, what's crazy is that, like, I mean, there is, well, and ultimately there is a real truth. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, Westworld, that was the TV show, but there was a movie called Westworld a long time ago, like in the 70s or early 80s. I saw it when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
and I just remember it being robots and stuff. That's all I remember about it.
There's a movie called Surrogates with what's the guy's name, Carrie?
Matthew Broderick.
Bruce Willis.
Isn't Matthew Broderick in Surrogates too?
I can't place that name and face, but in Surrogates you have all these elites that buy these cyborg bodies, and there's like an old guy controlling it, but he's got like different models he can jump into, to his consciousness. He just sits in a chair, hooks up his consciousness, and now he's in this body. It could be a younger version of him. It could be a son. It could be a wife. And that the whole movie's about what we're seeing here. And we're asking, like, why, if the gods are this way or that way, they're hidden, if they're just in the spirit realms or the astral or whatever. Well, we have NPCs, and the phrasing of, like, what are we doing here? God's just learning who he is or having all these experiences. Well, that tells me that God's not omnipotent, omniscient.
Right.
It must be pretty dumb. So he's literally, imagine a person who calls himself God that makes 10 million empty vessels that he can hop into and play. He can be Kobe Bryant one day. He can be LeBron James the next day, Michael Phelps the other day. And he gets to experience everything. That's the same thing that's happening in that movie Surrogates.
Okay.
But it's body jumping, body snatchers, all the same thing.
Right. Yeah, but then there's some people that won't allow it to happen, and that's probably what infuriates him.
Who's that? What do you mean? They don't allow it to happen.
Well, there's people that would have free will that would say, no, I'm not going to go that dark negative route. I mean, I would think that there would come a point where you would have to be a certain way, do certain stuff, accept certain rituals, whatever, drink certain shit, whatever you want to say, so that the devil could have access to you.
Yeah, you'd have to sell out.
And, yeah, there you go. And the other ones,
that's the whole selling your soul. That's
right.
The whole Beyonce says, I go on stage and something else is in me, not me, doing this. And that's the same thing with all these entertainers.
Oh yeah.
They're
all such fucking trash, dude. It took me a minute to figure that out, but once I did, it was just like, ugh, man, everything lost its luster.
Oh, dude, sports, traveling.
I was never into sports. I never liked sports, but like all the movies, I used to really like actors, not idolize them, but I really liked them. I was like, man, that's a really good actor. That's a really good actor. And then I was reading, I don't remember what it was I was reading, but it was saying that the Archons are really good at acting. They have a really good, I think it was called mental creativity, but they don't have any authentic creativity.
They're appropriating everything from everybody else. They have no original thought.
Right. So their creativity is all mental stuff that they've stolen, and that's why they're good at acting.
Right. Like all these movies and stories, they're stories about people like us revolting against all the corruption, and then they appropriate that to make it seem like they're the good guys.
Yeah.
It's like the show The Boys. Have you ever seen that? About the superheroes on Amazon? There's like a group of superheroes, but they're all evil. And the world loves them. Like the world worships them, but they're all like literally evil. Like all the bad stuff. I'm not going to go into it. It's a very vulgar show, but it's the same thing. Like Marvel heroes, DC heroes, the Incredibles is another one. It's like, oh, we have these heroes that are going to help save us, but then they're going to wreck New York trying to save us, and they're going to kill somebody on accident, or they didn't save enough people. It's the same. It's the false light and the dark, the positive, the negative.
Yeah,
false positive, but yeah.
Huh. Crazy. And yeah, music. God, all the music, man.
Same thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just the tones of it, and then you realize that music is just evoking emotion. And emotion is just chemicals being recognized by your brain.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of what I've been more recently, like looking at that last video that I watched. You threw his name out there, but it was from the Deleted Truths channel, and it was talking about how love is not really like, don't make everything about love, even though the frequency of love is a positive and a high thing. But like, I was thinking about it, and I was like trying to argue that, like, if I was to say that to certain people, they would argue, and I'm like, well, how would I counter it? And I'd say, well, then I would say that because they would always say, like, well, focus on love and be all about love, and that would be the hippie kind of guru thing to say. And I'd be like, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a false emotion. And so what you should do is focus more on gratitude and forgiveness, which are pure. They're like, it's different. I can't necessarily even verbalize how it's different, but it's like gratitude is such a higher frequency.
I would say like can you have true love based on lies?
Well, right.
You can't. It'd be false love.
Well,
There has
love
to be.
in general. I mean, what is love? I mean, just other than a good feeling. It's like music. Music will make you feel love. But what is that? It's just your body creates some sort of hormone or some sort of your glands pump some chemical out and you feel it and you go, oh, but
that feels good. It's
right, but that's all it is. It's a drug.
Is all it is. And
whereas gratitude is you can be thankful for you can look at all the shit going on and still overcome the reality of it with understanding, like putting your ego aside and saying, well, I'm grateful that I have this. And I'm grateful for all these things. I'm grateful that I know these people, which is still kind of love, but it's more, it's not based on the false chemical. It's based on an understanding of what, you know, kind of how it's hard to, I haven't tried to put it in words yet, but it's, I guess, just how we can interact with one another and even have bad days and you can still be grateful. You can still be grateful for things on a bad day. And forgiveness is even above that, which is why I think that's what, you know, Christ or Jesus, whatever you want to say, like the real guy was talking about. Like, that's how you beat this place, is with forgiveness, not trying to get revenge, not trying to I don't know, just being above that base, having to have shit for this body. It's kind of like looking above and beyond the body.
It goes back to lack, right? Like, this place is made of lack. We're in the true realms. That's Angelique calls them the hyper cosmo realms or cosmic realms. There is no sense of lack. If you had no lack in you, you wouldn't seek love from an outside source, because you know you are the source.
You'd have gratitude.
Yeah, it's like me walking through the wilderness, coming in contact with Jonathan, and him not having to say anything, and we just know, because we can feel it in the spirit, that this person is just grateful to be, not be something or be this or that or anything, just to be. Mm-hmm. Because you don't come from a place of lack. Yeah,
and that is just, to me, it's a higher vibration, or it's a higher resonance, a higher frequency, whatever you want to say. And I think it just, that's what can actually keep the dark away, the negative entities. Like, so, because that's what I focus on after I get these, like, we've been a couple times now with that woman that does the exorcisms and stuff. Like, I just try to constantly live in a spirit of gratefulness. I mean, and gratitude, just for all the things that I have and all the stuff that could be and all the stuff I've done and all the mistakes I've made and all the things I've learned and how much I've grown and all that stuff. I mean, I could list probably 10 times as much negative, bad shit that this didn't go my way. I don't have this sucks, all these bad things. But, like, you know, that's the two wolves in your head. Which one are you feeding type thing? It's like, I'm just, you know, the more you stay with the idea that, like, fuck this place, but not in a negative way. Fuck how it's trying to bring me down to its level.
I like that.
I'm going to stay up above it.
Yeah, if you agree with it, or if you see yourself in common with it, then you're tied to it.
Be in it and not of it.
And either once you're looking backwards or forwards.
Right.
When the real option is to worry about where your feet are, we'll say.
Right now. Yeah.
Because that's all you got.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the whole world stuff, the 5D, all that stuff. New World Order. They want everybody worried about what's coming or what's in the past. Oh, they've lied to us about all this. Okay, well, cool. I don't need to entangle in that polarity or that polarity. Right. I can just stay where I'm at. I'll just be. And that's all I need.
Yeah, because when the decision comes, like when something actually happens, all that old shit's not going to matter, and what's coming is not going to matter. You're going to be right here, right now, having to make a decision. And if you haven't gotten square with yourself, you're going to make a decision based on lack.
That's true.
Of not knowing. Yeah, totally, dude. And it's like what you said about if somebody comes to the door, like you and your mom take her, you're just going to be like, F you. I don't need to go anywhere. I got me. I got her. I'm good.
Yep, 100%.
Did William have
any? Man, well, I'm going to go back downstairs and hang out with my mom because this is getting to be the end of our night. But What a good whatever this was. What a good recording we did.
We'll call it a chat.
Yeah, what a good chat we had. Yeah. And thanks, William, for coming. Appreciate it. What about doing another, like a part 2 of the Jesus Yahweh Jewish cube cult?
Sure.
Oh, heck yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Cool. AKA Nessie.
Thanks, Nessie.
Cool. Thanks, Nessie.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'll end this recording. Oops. No. How do I do? Oh, there we go.